All right, boys, we're gonna be talking about a little bit of a trade recap here and how I broke even on the day. A lot of my students did make money because they did take partials higher up, and I didn't take any partials on these accounts, but I took partials on my top step accounts just because it was easier for me to manage at the time. But let's talk about today's trade and why I even took it. So first things first, that we had off of market open, I expected us to draw into data lows. I literally had the tool marked out. I'll show you guys right here on the screen. I had a path tool saying that we would take data lows and move higher, right? And I had this original path tool drawn out right here off of an inverse, and let's talk about how that came to be. So first things first, let's just get rid of these path tools and talk about how we moved when the market opened. So we came down immediately on the market open, bottom ticked the data lows on ES and immediately started moving higher. So we didn't take the data lows on, we did take the data lows on NQ, but we just slammed right through it, which formed an external SMT, which pushed my bias for longs a lot higher, right? We eventually did get a 1 minute inverse right here and a 3 minute as well, as you can see on this candle closure. So that was obviously indicating that my long trade was more probable than a short, which is exactly what we do when we day trade. We play off probabilities, statistics, and data. Okay. The only thing that I was looking for to support this trade was an internal SMT, right? We didn't have one right here off of the market open. We just had the external, which would just equate to like an A setup. An A plus setup would be supported by an inverse, sorry, not inverse fair value gap, a internal SMT. So let's keep playing the market here. Kept moving up. We eventually came back down for a retrace, retracing to this 1 minute fair value gap right here in ES as well as NQ. If you take a look at this 1 minute right here and this 1 minute right here, right? The most recent 1 minute, which is the most probable recent fair value gap. Okay. That happening formed an internal SMT, as you can see right here at the low of the 936 candle on both NQ and ES, and then the 941 candle. We had taken the 936 lows on NQ, but not ES. What does that indicate? An internal SMT pushing our bias higher. All right, now let's talk about my entry confirmation, okay? Why didn't I enter a trade off of this SMT purely? Because we didn't have an entry confirmation. And look what would have happened if I did, right? Taking my entry, I don't fucking know. Maybe on this candle closure right here, CISD, whatever you want to call it. Semi stops here, TP like previously London highs. Look what would have happened. Boom, taken out. Why would we have gotten taken out? Because there's no inverse fair value gap. What do we have right here? Inverse fair value gap. Okay, so that's when I took my entry. Took my entry in the IFVG on the candle closure. Semi stops below the most recent swing low, like a lower time frame swing low. Set my take profit at previously London highs. Okay. We also inversed a 1 minute fair value gap. It's actually a 1 minute bounce price range. I didn't even realize that in the moment. I realize it now. Inverse the 1 minute bounce price range on ES. And what time is this happening at? 9:46, right before the macro and a little bit before 10 a.m. news. Okay. So we took the entry of the trade, and this is what happened. Okay. We took this next drawn liquidity on ES, as you can see right here, and immediately started reacting bearish. However, I broke even on this trade since we did take internal highs, and that's my rule. My rule personally is that once we take internal highs, I'm going to go break even, because most of our trades do immediately play out, meaning that we don't chop up in drawdown or move further towards the stop loss. We immediately rocket towards the take profit. That's just at least how my model plays, right? That's why I have break evens in my trading, so I can maintain profitability. That's how I'm up $39,000 this month live trading. Okay. And then that's when I got break even. So this trade would have ended like, right here. Right. And yeah, that's basically it. We came up a little bit and then just start immediately crashing down. And I said this earlier too, I said if we broke data lows, we wouldn't be looking at any type of upward momentum. And that's exactly what happened. So yeah, I mean, it literally can't get any more complicated like that. The way I don't trade is complicated. The way I trade is simple, simply so people can understand. So people can understand properly and not get like FOMO'd into a bunch of unnecessary external circumstances. And by the way, I know it looks like that I got break even on this candle instead of this candle. I know you're wondering, extra, why didn't you get break even on the candle I said you got break even on? Well, that's because during my live stream, my mic just randomly turned off and I had to tell my chat to fucking break even, and I didn't get it. So I just moved my stop loss to break even, and it's kind of thankfully came up and took me out. So that's good, right? I lost a couple of points because like my shit was like fucking bugging the fuck out. I was going absolutely bonkers. But I mean, what can you do, bro? You know what I mean? You can't really do anything about that. So yeah. Does anyone have any questions? And as for the YouTube people, I live trade daily in my Discord. Join it. Link in bio. Yada yada yada. Happy Friday. I'll see you all next week. Bye bye.